And needless to say, I never got the 50 cents. But now, he says, he tells my children, every time they come into the house, he'd say, well, let's see how much money old granddad's got for his wonderful kids. And the minute they take the money out of his hand, I call them over to me. And I snatch the money out of their hand because that was my money. Another story that he tells a little bit is the difference between Mother's Day and Father's Day. See, Mother's Day is a much bigger deal because mothers are more organized. Mothers say to their children, here's a list of what I want. Now go get the money from your father. And surprise me on Mother's Day. For Father's Day, he says, I give each of my kids $20 so they can go out and buy me a present. That's a total of $100. And they go to the store and buy 2 packages of underwear, each of which cost $5. And it contains 3 shorts. And they tear them open, and each kid wraps up 1 pair. And the 6th pair goes to the Salvation Army. Therefore, on Father's Day, I'm walking around with new underwear. My kids are walking around with $90 worth of my change in their pockets. Now, of course, Father's Day is not really a religious holiday. It's a secular day. But that does not mean that we hold it up to our considerations. And we usually do not give equal billing to fathers this morning just because a month ago we celebrated and gave homage to mothers. But we really want to recognize dads for usually another important reason. The reason is the message is fading out of society today, for fathers are simply not needed. Simply not needed. While the numbers may be small, there are some women out there that actually choose to be a single parent. And there are far too many men out there who father children who have no intention of raising a child. The church then has an obligation to send a message out loud and clear that fathers play a critical role in the life of a family and that they are needed. And God does expect something from the fathers. You fathers will have a powerful impact upon your family if you connect in 3 very crucial and critical areas. First of all, the role of the father is to connect with God. Second of all, the role of the father is to connect with his family. And third, the role of the father is to stay connected with his church. If the father is connected with God, there are no obstacles that he cannot overcome. Keeping focused to see that the kids are directed in the way that God would have them go. It has an impact on how children will see the world and see others through your eyes if you stay focused on Christ. And if the father connects with the family, how much stronger do you think the bonds would be? And your kids, while growing up, may think you're a little odd, but they will realize how important family is, and they will do the same for their families as well. And if the father connects with his church, this in of itself is key to family life. I've said this before. The father is the one that can tie the family together in church. If dad goes to church, then most likely the kids will continue on going to church. Moms are the greatest organizers. This is not even a contest. They're the greatest organizers. But it's dad that is the glue to keep the moms together. It's a scary thing being a father sometimes, but in the end, it's all worth it. Moms are the one that has that brings the children to church sometimes, but it's the father that can keep them there if he's there to worship. See, mothers give kids drug problems. You know what I mean? Because you were drugged to church, you were drugged to school. It's mom that causes all the drug problems in children. When dad around dragging and kicking and screaming because the family unit stays intact. Jesus spent a lot of time with his Father, talked with him every day. You can do the same thing. Sometimes there's a healing in talking with your dad. I remember I used to think my dad was as dumb as a box of rocks. It's funny how much he finally learned after all these years. My dad was not a church-going person. He always said you don't have to go to church to believe in God. And in a small way, a very small way, that's true. There's some truth to that. The problem, though, is that without the church, you miss the connection between church and community, being one. He did come to realize that this more and more as he began to go to church more often than he ever did before. Jesus set the example of what a loving father is. He connected well with his earthly father, Joseph. He needed Joseph. He needed Joseph to not only be there for protection, but for training, for teaching him the things of the world, how to make a living, how to take up a trade, how to meet people, how to treat people. And remember, Jesus was still a little bitty baby, and he had to learn all these things. It was not a process that just miraculously started right up. One might click it. Jesus, as Heavenly Father, finished what his earthly father started and stayed with him the rest of his whole earthly days. We have that same Heavenly Father that will stay with us the rest of our days until we're reunited with him in heaven. Our earthly fathers will be there, hopefully to guide and protect us. Some of our fathers have gone on to glory, but we do remember the things that they taught us. We do remember those things. So we honor them this day, Father's Day. For some of us fathers, it's no big deal. But it is a big deal. Because we are part of the family. Amen.